Yep.
Uh-oh.
Yep. All good to go.
Good. All right. Well, we're all here minus Eddie, so we can get started, I guess. All right. So I'll call the meeting to order. Welcome to the regular monthly meeting of the Board of Commissioners held for the purpose of transacting the general business of the township. Today's date is June 9th, 2021. Due to social distancing guidelines and masking regulations imposed by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania on indoor gatherings, this meeting is being conducted remotely utilizing the Zoom video conference platform. Instructions for accessing the meeting and for submitting public comment were made available on the township's website in advance of the meeting. Okay, please stand and join the Board of Commissioners in a moment of silent reflection, honoring the servicemen and women who place themselves in harm's way in order to help preserve our safety at home and overseas. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion dispensing with the reading of the minutes of the previous meeting as written and recorded in the official minute book of the township.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, any seconds?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Okay, please record a unanimous vote. We are without Commissioner Graham this evening. Everybody else, I believe, is here. No substitute professionals. And I will make an announcement. The Board of Commissioners conducted a special executive session meeting on May 26, 2021 to discuss one matter of litigation and another executive session meeting as part of the regularly scheduled workshop meeting on June 7th, 2021 to discuss 3 personnel matters and 2 matters of litigation. Due to limitations on the size of indoor gatherings that were imposed by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania during the COVID-19 pandemic, all regular and special meetings of the Board of Commissioners and Township Advisory Boards have been conducted in a remote format utilizing the Zoom video conferencing platform. However, with the recent easing of COVID-19 mitigation measures by the Commonwealth, together with increasing vaccination rates and declining cases of COVID-19 infections in Montgomery County, the Board of Commissioners is pleased to announce that we will resume in-person meetings for all Township Commissioners and advisory meetings beginning July 1st, 2021. Additionally, based upon feedback received by the community, the board is also planning to incorporate an internet streaming feature for the Board of Commissioners workshop and business meetings so that residents can view the actions of the board in real time. Residents should continue to monitor the township website, which is www.springfieldmontco.org, for updated agendas and to subscribe to email alerts. Okay. Later this evening, the Board of Commissioners will conduct a public hearing and may consider the adoption of a proposed ordinance to amend the township zoning code by adding a deadline for the issuance of use and occupancy permits and provide for the extension of the expiration of zoning relief in certain circumstances. Any questions or comments related to the proposed ordinance should be held until the public hearing is conducted. So what we're doing with that is we're going to get through Commissioner Lee's report, and then we will close this meeting. We will go into that meeting, and then when that's over, we will adjourn that meeting, come back into this one, and potentially vote on that use and occupancy ordinance, and then we'll have another session of public commentary. So. Okay, the board is now open to comments or questions from the public. The board draws particular attention to those items listed on the agenda this evening. Please be advised that once the committee reports begin, the board can no longer accept questions from the floor. At the conclusion of the committee reports, public comment will once again be accepted. However, official action on those issues listed on the agenda will have already taken place. Therefore, if you wish to comment on an agenda item, now would be the appropriate time. Okay, and I see, first of all, Brandon, do we have any emails? Anybody?
No
fine.
emails.
All right, I'm gonna go left to right on my screen here. So Chris Weth, go ahead, please.
Go ahead,
Good
Chris.
evening.
Good evening.
This is relative to the Land Development Flowertown Shopping Center agenda item. The southbound exit from the Flowertown Shopping Center can be confusing to those unfamiliar with the exit. Vehicles exiting southbound onto Bethlehem Pike must make a lane change immediately after the second McDonald's parking lot entrance exit in order to get into the left lane before the solid yellow line begins near the end of the shopping center's exit. Whenever making this lane change maneuver, I ask myself, who designed this traffic flow and signage many years ago? Addition of a building in the general vicinity of this exit may compound any existing confusion. While it is understandable that compromises may be necessary whenever incorporating new buildings into an existing infrastructure, at the very least, the new additions should not make the overall experience more confusing or less safe. I urge the Board of Commissioners to only approve changes that don't compound traffic confusion and don't worsen traffic safety. Additionally, the owner could be encouraged to revisit the entire entry/exit scheme, if feasible, as part of any additional building construction. Thank you for considering this feedback and making any appropriate suggestions to the property owner.
Thank you. So my comment about that is that maybe 6 months or so ago, we had representatives of Federal Realty on our call, and we did in fact discuss some of these issues, leading up to their meeting with us in White Marsh. And however, that has not happened yet. They've deferred those meetings, and I don't know when they're scheduled. Are they, Mike? Do we know when they're going to be coming in front of our Planning Commission or White Marsh now? Or
we do not. They identified an issue with the floodplain that is going to require them to revisit their plans, as you're aware. So they're going to go back to the drawing board with their plans, and they'll appear at a future Planning Commission meeting. So Mr. Weth should voice some of those concerns at the Planning Commission meeting, at which time the applicant will be there.
Thank you.
okay,
Yeah, can I chirp in here?
Yep.
I don't know, 12 years ago when they were trying to put the Home Depot in, we fought this. Everybody agrees with you on this. We fought this battle. And we asked them, because they were being very ambitious and tearing stuff down because it was a piece in the back. And we said, well, why don't you just move the McDonald's? And that's the real solution because it's in the way. And they said that McDonald's had a 99-year lease. So I guess we're down to 88 years or so now, but there's got to be something better. We did, as you know, from Monday night's discussion, at one point they wanted to make it two-way in front of what's now the Movie Tavern, and we thought that was more confusing to pedestrians. But it is something that you should bring up, and hopefully we can make at least a minor improvement because it annoys us all.
I'll try to attend that meeting, and
Great.
I'm going to go on mute now. Didn't
Okay,
want
well, thank you.
time here.
Okay.
Thank you.
thanks, Chris.
Thanks,
Okay.
Chris.
All right, Christine.
Baird, before we
Go
go to
ahead.
Christine, can I just say that I spoke with the township engineer yesterday
Okay.
about the shopping center, and the township engineer agrees entirely with Mr. Weth, and will be looking into that issue when the plans come before him.
Okay, great.
Good.
All right, Christine, go ahead.
Good.
Hi, gentlemen. I'm not sure if you can tell us or give us a quick update about what's going on with the tank car location. I saw that was on the agenda. I did pull the dockets, but it was, it's a little confusing.
Yeah.
I have a statement in my report that explains how the case turned out, where that had to do with the amount that we have to pay. So we'll update that when I read my report.
Yeah,
And
Okay,
that's really the only thing that's going on right now.
yeah.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, so we'll deal with that. And then, so Betsy, go ahead.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, now I'm
There you
unmuted. Okay, I had the same question as Christine about the Tank Car Corporation, so I'll await Commissioner Harbison's explanation. And then the other thing I wanted to ask about was the zoning petition for the Falcon Hills subdivision, Lot 1 Henry Way. Could you tell us why the township is opposing that zoning petition, what that's about?
Well.
You
so
want
we're
me to
looking-
take that there?
Well, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Betsy, I think the township's reasoning is that it is very early in that subdivision, and already there is a house that purports to be too large for the permitted building coverage on the property. So the township, commissioners, I'm sorry, felt that that was probably a somewhat bad precedent to set this early in the development of that subdivision. And I spoke with the attorney for the developer this morning, and she advises me that they will be looking for another way to address that issue.
Okay, thank you so much.
That's a great
You're
thing.
welcome.
Okay. All right. Okay, so if there are no more comments or questions, we will then move on to the committee reports. And let's see here. Let's switch gears. Okay, so I will make a few comments. And my first comment is on March 15th, 2021, Federal Realty Investment Trust, owner of the Flowertown Shopping Center, submitted an application to Springfield Township seeking land development approval to expand the existing shopping center via the construction of a 4,500 square foot pad site. The township engineer recently provided Federal Realty with a review letter providing various comments and deficiencies that must be addressed before approval is granted. Therefore, I move that the Board of Commissioners accept a letter dated May 4th, 2021 from Craig R. Lewis, Counsel for Federal Realty Investment Trust, extending the 90-day subdivision/land development plan review period up to and including August 31st, 2021. The extension of time will provide Federal Realty the opportunity to revise their land development plans to be in compliance with the Springfield Township Code. That is my motion. Do we have a second?
Second, and I do actually have a quick question on this too, Mr. President. Maybe this is a question for Mike. Mike, the concessions that we got from Federal Realty the first go around regarding some of the sound dampening in the back, would those kind of carry through, or would we have to revisit that agreement?
No, if they were a part of the land development plan for the Giant or for the movie tavern, they would stay.
No. This was a consideration that they agreed to, kind of coming out of our meeting a couple months ago.
Oh, that would be out of the zoning hearing board.
Yeah,
Meeting. Then yeah.
that would still be binding.
If it was a condition of the zoning approval, then yes. But you still have another bite of this through the land development review process. They haven't actually appeared in front of you yet.
Yep. No, and I think that now with changing of the actual pad site to a different location, it does kind of open it up to a whole nother kind of set of issues, as the previous caller mentioned, as far as the traffic flow through the shopping center. So, yeah, hopefully we'll be able to address some of those things as well.
Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. That's not me. No nays. So please record a unanimous vote. Thank you. Okay. Next, concerning the dedication of Emlyn Way, the Washington Manor subdivision is located on the north side of Pennsylvania Avenue in both Springfield and Upper Dublin Townships. The main access to the development is via Emlyn Way, a 315-foot length of roadway, which is located in Springfield Township, closest to Pennsylvania Avenue. The remainder of the roads serving the development are located in Upper Dublin Township. During the subdivision/land development review process, both municipalities agreed that all roadways would be dedicated to and become the responsibility of Upper Dublin Township, including 315-foot section of Emlyn Way located in Springfield Township. Therefore, I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt resolution number 1534, a resolution authorizing the dedication of authorizing the dedication of road right-of-way and any attributable liquid fuels taxes to Upper Dublin Township for the length of all roadways within the Washington Manor subdivision. So that is my motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on the motion?
Mr. President, just a point of clarification for the public's benefit. There are no improvements on this section of roadway in Springfield Township besides the road. I mean, there are no houses there. There's nothing there. It's just the road. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so then I will take a vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote. Okay, and now we will move on to Commissioner Harbison, the Chairman of Internal Affairs and Library Committees.
There, I'm unmuting. There we go. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Mhm.
Great. For my first item is the bill listing. I move that the Board of Commissioners approve the May check reconciliation in the amount of $391,896.52 and the June bill listing in the amount of $398,812. That is my motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions or comments on the motion? No questions or comments, so all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote.
And next, I have the long-awaited announcement on the Tank Car Corporation. On October 30th, 2015, Springfield Township filed a declaration of taking for the property located at 1725 Walnut Avenue in Orland. On May 4th, 2016, the owners, Tank Car Corporation of America, tendered possession of the property to the township. Tank Car was subsequently granted $150,000 of estimated just compensation for the property. On March 6th, 2017, Tank Car filed a petition for appointment of Board of Viewers, challenging the estimated just compensation paid by the township for the property. On September 13th, 2018, both the township and Tank Car filed appeals with Montgomery County Court of Common Pleas from the report and award of the Board of Viewers. A non-jury trial was then held by video conference from February 22 to 24, 2021, and a decision was rendered by the court on May 18th, 2021, granting Tank Car an additional $521,000 in just compensation for the property. Since Tank Car, actually, I'm going to stop for a sec. In the middle of that, Mike, the Board of Viewers, what didn't they award them like $1 million? What was the number that they got? That's not in this announcement.
They were like $1.1 million.
Right. So we started at 150. They took it to this board. The board then made it $1.1 million. And then this decision has said another 521 on top of the 150. So at this point, the court order is somewhere in between. So now I'm going to keep reading. Since Tank Car recently appealed the decision of the Montgomery County Court of Common Pleas regarding the appropriate damages to be paid for the township's condemnation of the property, I move that the Board of Commissioners authorize the Office of Township Solicitor to appeal any part of the trial court's decision deemed to be adverse to the township and to take all appropriate steps to protect the township's interest in such appeals. That is my motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay, and any questions or comments?
A quick question on the part of our solicitor. Do we have a sense of when this appeal would be taken?
The appeal will be taken as soon as the post-trial motions are decided upon by the trial judge, which was the decision that we're talking about. So the post-trial motions under Pennsylvania procedure have to be filed before the appeal can be taken to the Commonwealth Court. Just to, I guess, put a little bit more explanation on this for Christine and anyone who may be listening, there were 4 major issues in the condemnation case, 3 of which the township was successful on, and 1 of which the township was not, although the court below said that what the township had requested was which was a slight reduction for what's called environmental stigma, was appropriate. The judge just felt that there needed to be more comparables in order to render that decision. So I think when I first reported on this to the board, I mentioned that we had won 3 out of the 4, so I assumed there would be an appeal, which there was, and I asked for permission to appeal that 1 issue that we were not successful on, so that we would have some leverage, and that took place yesterday. So there is now an appeal, or not an appeal yet, I'm sorry. There are post-trial motions which are pending in front of the trial judge on those 4 issues.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Will you please record a unanimous vote?
Thank you, Mr. President. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Harbison. Next, we will move on to Commissioner Wilson, the chairman of our Cultural and Environmental Resources Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 2 items this evening. First is the recycling report, and I'm pleased to announce that during the month of May 2021, Springfield Township residents recycled 176.25 tons of materials with a householder participation rate of 82.7%. The net costs for the month was $23,627.96. Reporting on the Environmental Advisory Commission, I'm pleased to recommend that we move with the Board of Commissioners, that I move that the Board of Commissioners appoint Zita Cross, Desiree Ramon, and Aaron Stempowitz to new 3-year terms of service as members of the Springfield Township Environmental Advisory Commission. The new 3-year term of service for these individuals shall expire on June the 14th, 2024. And just as a personal point of privilege here, these are all extremely involved, extremely knowledgeable, extremely hardworking individuals who have been on the board on the commission for some time, and I strongly recommend their reappointment for these terms. That is my motion.
Great. Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed, say nay. Okay, please record a unanimous vote.
And that concludes my report, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Wilson. Next, we will, Commissioner Graham does not have a report. Is somebody taking, there's no report at all from the Parks and Recreation Committee, is that right? Or?
That's correct.
Okay, all right, fine. So next we will move then to the Commissioner Maxwell, the chairman of our Public Safety Committee. And he looks like he doesn't have a report.
No, I don't have one this
Okay.
tonight.
Okay, so we will then move on to see Commissioner Cobb, the chairman of our Zoning Committee.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. So first, I'd like to announce that the next Springfield Township Zoning Hearing Board will meet Monday, June 28th at 7 p.m. Looks like this will be the final meeting that will be conducted via the Zoom virtual meeting platform before we meet again in person. We have 3 applications to be heard that evening. The first is an application from Mr. Arthur Morton, who's owner of the property located at 7914 Cheltenham Avenue in Winmore. The applicant has filed for an appeal from the actions of the zoning officer, who denied the requested use and occupancy certificate to allow Mr. Morton to operate a sober living residence for up to 23 unrelated persons in a single family dwelling, which currently has 4 bedrooms. The property is zoned B residential, and the B residential zoning district permits single family dwellings but does not permit group homes. In addition, the applicant has requested that the zoning hearing board allow the use as a reasonable accommodation under the Fair Housing Act. The property is located in Ward 5 of the township. Second application to be heard that evening will be from Jillian and John Ricards, owners of the property located at 1205 Paper Mill Road in Erdenheim. The applicants have requested a dimensional variance, seeking approval to have a 5-foot-high solid fence remain as currently installed on the front property line. Fencing 5 feet in height is required to be set back a minimum of 10 feet from the property line adjoining a public right-of-way. That property is zoned within the AA residential district of Ward 4. And finally, the third application of Fox Lane Homes at Falcon Hill Estates is for the property known as lot number 1 of the approved Falcon Hill subdivision and land development plan. The property is located in the cul-de-sac of Henry Way, and the applicants have requested a dimensional variance seeking to increase the building coverage on the site from the permitted maximum coverage of 15% to 18.7% of the total lot area. That property is zoned within the AA residential district of Ward 7. Again, that meeting for the zoning hearing board is scheduled for Monday, July 26th, 2021, with a 7 p.m. start time, and again will be held over Zoom. And then I have a motion. I move that the Board of Commissioners authorize the, yes.
Real quick, the address for the property on Paper Mill Road is actually 1505. It's listed incorrectly in your agenda, but it was corrected for the public agenda and for the ones that were mailed out. We talked about that on Monday evening. And then at the end, you noted the zoning hearing board meeting for July 26, 2021, which they will be meeting on that night, provided they have petitions. But the agenda that you read into record.
Oh, yes, excuse me.
June 28th, 2021.
Good catch. Good catch.
Sorry to interrupt.
No. All right, so I move that the Board of Commissioners authorize the office of the Township Solicitor to represent the interests of the board in opposition to the application of Fox Lane Homes at Falcon Hill Estates for the property known as Lot 1 Henry Way of the Falcon Hill Estates subdivision. The applicants have requested a dimensional variance to increase the building coverage on the site from a maximum permitted coverage of 15% to 18.7% of the total lot area. That's my motion.
And then, Jim, you mentioned earlier that you thought that they were going to, are they going to withdraw that application, or are they going to?
I don't know yet, Baird. If
know.
they go forward with the application, I'll be there to oppose, but
Okay,
I have a feeling they're going to try to solve the problem another way.
okay. Well, in the meantime, if they don't, then I will make this motion.
Jonathan already made the motion.
You need
He
the
just-
motion, but then I need a second for that. So-
I'll second it.
Okay, fine. And that's the basic clarification, that they may come back with something else, but we
Right.
don't know. So all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And
Aye.
opposed, say nay. Okay, please record a unanimous vote.
All right, and that's my report.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Cobb. Now we will move on to the Commissioner Lee, the chairman of our Public Works and Facilities Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have one item this evening. On Tuesday, June 1st, 2021, bids were received for the township's 2021 highway resurfacing and milling program. Bids were received from 4 contractors: Glasgow Inc., Allen Myers LP, James Morrissey Inc., and Highway Materials Inc. The bids ranged from a low of $487,507.75 to a high of $534,085.75. I move that the Board of Commissioners award a contract to Glasgow Inc. of Glenside, PA, to mill and resurface specified township streets for their low bid price of $487,507.75. That is my motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, thank you. All in favor, please, I'm sorry, questions or comments on that? All right, Any, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Okay, please record a unanimous vote.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. President. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Lee. Okay, so that concludes our committee reports, and I am going to, right now, we're going to go into a public hearing, so I'm going to accept a motion to temporarily adjourn the June 2021 business meeting of the Board of Commissioners in order to conduct a public hearing on a proposed zoning code amendment. So we have a motion on that?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Okay, please record a unanimous vote, and then I will accept a motion to convene a public hearing on a proposed ordinance to amend the township zoning code by adding a deadline for the issuance of use and occupancy permits and to provide for the extension of the expiration of zoning relief in certain circumstances. Do I have a motion for that?
Motion.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
Okay, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. And I am at this point, and please record a unanimous vote. Thank you. And then I'm going to turn the proceedings over to our solicitor, Jim Garrity. He will take us through the public hearing. So,
Thank you very much, Baird. Ladies and gentlemen, the township is considering tonight an ordinance. At the first class township code requires that any ordinance of this type be given a public hearing. Now, that doesn't mean it's overly technical, but if you have questions about this ordinance, or if the commissioners have questions about this ordinance, we will take it. There are three things and only three things that this ordinance does. First of all, there was a case recently, an appellate court case, which noted that most townships in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania do not have any deadline for the issuance or denial of a use and occupancy permit. We were one of those townships. We don't have a deadline. We say you can apply for one, but we don't say when we might issue it or when we might deny it. And since the court said they were going to impose what they deemed to be a reasonable deadline if we don't provide ourselves with one, we have written this ordinance number 1 to provide for the zoning officer to have a 45-day deadline from the submission of a complete application with all appropriate plans and fees. And that deadline is for either the denial or the issuance of the permit. The second and third things that the ordinance accomplishes are virtually identical. One applies to you as a board and one applies to the zoning board. Like many municipalities, we have a provision that zoning relief expires, and that is conditional uses, special exceptions, variances, etc., if they are not acted upon within a certain period of time. Some townships have no such provision. I think it's a good idea to have one because facts can change. If someone, for example, gets a variance and a year later the facts are very, very different, they should be required to go back and get another variance. However, on some occasions, there's an appeal. On some occasions, the use of the variance requires a land development approval, which takes time, etc. So what both of these second and third provisions of this ordinance do is establish a 1-year deadline, but provide for that 1-year period to be told or stopped, if you will, on the following situations. And that is the diligent pursuit of any necessary land development or subdivision, the appeal of the land development, the appeal of the zoning relief by the Board of Commissioners or any private citizen. And number 3, which is one which just occurred because of COVID, any period for which the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania has declared a state of emergency lasting for a period of more than 30 days. So those 3 things would toll the 1-year deadline. Otherwise, the 1-year deadline would apply and someone would either have to ask the zoning board to extend the zoning relief or go back into the zoning board and ask for the relief again and presume that there isn't a change in circumstances. And that is all this ordinance does, those 3 things. First of all, do the Board of Commissioners have any questions about the ordinance?
Jim, I have a question. So once the 45-day deadline is in place, What happens if the township fails to provide a response after 45 days?
It's deemed approved. First of all, it's not 45 days, Jim. It's a year. Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about the use and occupancy permit.
Yes.
Yes, if it is deemed approved, any deadline that the zoning officer would not comply with would result in a deemed approval.
Thank you.
Right.
And as far as the last one, Jim, the year deadline, if there is an emergency declared, that just sort of stops the clock at that point. And then
Yes,
the
that's
clock
what-
is turned on, at which point the emergency is lifted.
Correct. That's what tolling means. Tolling stops the clock.
And Jim, I mean, this is a very simple question, but an assumption here. This is just for all new requests. This has no effect on the variances that have been granted or accepted in the years gone by. This is just for new applications.
That is correct, Commissioner. Yes. It should also save folks a lot of money, because a lot of people have to go back to the zoning board a couple of times begging for extensions of time because they need to get a mortgage, or they need to get their contractor to fit it in his schedule or something like that. And it makes them go back to the zoning board the way it's currently written. Are there any questions then from anyone in the audience? And you can raise your hand using your computers. Okay, seeing none, then Baird, I would suggest that the board first of all go back into its meeting from this hearing, and then you have the absolute right to vote on this ordinance or take it under advisement.
Okay. So first, I will accept a motion to close the public hearing on the zoning code amendment. Do I have a motion?
moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Great. Okay. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Okay. Please record a unanimous vote. And then second, I will accept a motion to reopen the June 9th, 2021 business meeting of the Board of Commissioners. And if desired, so let me take that motion first. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Yeah. Okay. And do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And next, I will ask if anybody would like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 970, known as the use and occupancy decision deadline and extension of zoning relief expirations. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay. And any other questions? I think we've kind of covered all that, but if anybody has any questions, I don't see any. Okay. So all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed, say nay. Okay, please record a unanimous vote on that motion. Thank you. Okay, so now we have finished the public hearing and our committee report. So I will go back into the public portion of our meeting. We are now open to comments or questions from the public. Do we have any comments or questions from the public? See, Betsy has her hands up. Betsy, go ahead.
Okay, since this is the last virtual meeting, probably, I was wondering if Jeff Harbison would do us a favor and raise that eye again, so I can take a picture of
There we
it.
go. That's great. I wish we all had one of those, this is a great photo op.
All right, so wait,
I was trying, Betsy. I
Okay,
was
wait,
trying to
okay.
make it.
Hold on, Betsy. Let me do something for you. How about that?
Posed.
did you just take a picture?
Do you want me to take a picture?
Well, I don't know, it might come out better. I'm taking a picture of the screen.
How about we both take a picture?
I think we
Okay.
should all have, all have our thumbs up too.
Wait,
What do you
okay,
think?
wait, Jeff, could you say something so you could be on speaker view, please?
Oh, okay. Yeah, what I wanted to do while the hearing was going on was to make it my background. So it would be this huge thing, but because I'm on my iPad, I couldn't figure out how to do that.
Okay, got it.
Jeff, I think you should bring them with you next month when we meet in person.
I'm gonna
Just
bring
hold
this
them up
one.
at the table. Oh, yeah, help.
I'm sure I will bring them.
Go away, yeah. All right. Okay, well, any other questions or comments or jokes? Anybody have a good joke? No, all right. All right, well, in that case, I will accept a motion to adjourn our meeting here.
So moved.
Okay, any seconds?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Help. Any opposed? Say nay. Right, we have 5 ayes, 1 help, and that, I think, constitutes a quorum. So meeting's adjourned, and we'll see you all next month for real. Next
That's
month.
right. Fire.
Person.
Yeah.
Iron nose pants.
That's right. Long pants.
Yeah, find those pants.